um, had decided on our course of action, but on the way out of town, we spied several nobles. And they were sort of trapezing through the town. And I decided to follow them, hoping that they were heading back towards the castle, which would allow me to sneak in and steal the magic item. But instead, they decided to leave town. And at this point, the whole party was following us. And then they went to a field, and some elves showed up. Turned out that the elves were being aided by a changeling in the shape of Lord What's His Face, who well, let's just say that the ambush ended badly for the elves
I
and
mean,
the
he doesn't
changeling.
deserve a name.
The changeling was gooified, and all but one of the elves were killed. We captured this elf, tied him up in a bunch of rope, and dragged his ass back to the castle. Eventually. Whereupon we found out that the Baron is dead. The Lord What's His Face, who was the presumed heir, is MIA, presumed dead. The Duke stuck a fork in a bunch of different people, and as a result of the forking, is now reasonably certain that the people he forked were not changelings. He did not, however, fork himself, so we don't know. The Duke could be a changeling, just playing the part real well. At that point, we decided to take a nice long rest. So we threw the elf in the oubliette, and Tormund and Wolford decided to basically sit on top of the hatch down into the oubliette and sleep there. While Emmy and Agatha decided to have a slumber party with the Duke's children. The
Duke's
gnome.
daughter.
Yeah, the Duke's daughter. And the gnome decided to stay with the people down in the oubliette casting a bunch of magic shit.
I would just like to mention that we had multiple pairs of silver shackles on that elf. So if that elf is not there,
The elf is there.
okay. Do we get a long rest?
Yes, you get a successful long rest.
Hey, I get 2 spells back.
All right. I guess we should check in the oubliette and make sure that the elf is still there.
All right. So you were sleeping on top of the hatch, were you not?
No, Torment and Wilfred were. I was sleeping elsewhere in the room on a more comfortable spot.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, you can't see because there are two large people laying on top of the hatch.
Minor illusion of a Wilhelm scream.
So be it.
I'm going to sit up quickly and shout, "Brother!"
Who there? Who there? What? Huh?
And when they're all looking around in a panic, I open the hatch and look down.
Okay. There appears to be a creature down there, shackled and roped.
Wait.
Looks familiar to you.
Does it look alive?
Are you dead?
You hear some kind of muffled sound.
I close the hatch. It's not dead yet.
So can we talk to him now?
Wait, what kind of hatch is it?
It's a reinforced, iron banded wooden floor hatch.
Okay, but like there's no way to see in without opening it.
It does not have a window in it. No.
No. Does it have sufficient ventilation?
You don't see any ventilation. You certainly didn't design the oubliette.
Hey guys, we should probably make sure that the elf doesn't suffocate.
I don't know how much any of your characters would know about closed spaces like that.
I knew enough to build the vacuum trap.
Yeah.
That's fair, but also that wasn't necessarily intentional.
I mean, from that vacuum trap, all I know is apparently if you stick dirt atop a hole, things die inside.
Well, okay, you know what? You have a really high intelligence and you do have some experience with that. So I'll tell you right now, you're pretty sure after that many hours, if there wasn't enough oxygen in there for that elf to survive, he would probably have died while you were all asleep. So there's got to be some amount of air getting in there.
Perfect.
And for
Oh,
what it's worth, the hatch is pretty secure. It doesn't look like, it looks heavy duty. And, around the hatch is stone, but there is enough damage to the edges of the stone that it looks like there are a couple little tiny, tiny gaps, places where a little air could get. Not necessarily, going to be great airflow through there, but it's not sitting with stale air for a hugely long period of time and no flow at all.
all right.
Sleuth!
Smooth is here. Yay.
No, I'm not.
Unfortunate for the rest of the party.
Sleuth, you need to roll initiative.
I am opening my character sheet.
We're all good, Sleuth. We're just busy taking care of the elf.
I mean, the fucking knife he is. I don't remember what I.
Do you want to know how long it takes Meta to put together IKEA furniture?
20 minutes.
One bed, a very simple bed, literally just a headboard, a foot, and 2 side panels. Took me 5 hours because I'm a
How?
fucking idiot.
See,
How?
I
don't-
built
I don't-
halfway, and then I realized that I had flipped one of the panels, and I had to undo a
I
bunch.
can't imagine.
I was taking a bunch
I've
of
built a ton of
breaks.
IKEA furniture. Yeah, okay. Breaks don't count though.
Okay, then maybe 2 hours.
Okay. I mean, I guess if you
Two-
screw
two
up bad enough, that's believable. But that's pretty bad.
I have
Yeah.
a table from IKEA that is 8 parts with about 25 screws, and it took me 20 minutes to make it. And it took about 15 of those to find a screwdriver.
Um. Yeah, we have 5 bookshelves that are IKEA bookshelves, and a couple of pantries, and a big old glass front kitchen cabinet, and a couple other things as well, and I built all of those.
Yeah,
didn't
I
enjoy
mean,
it.
most of the time was spent
We're
trying
off top.
to make sure I didn't fuck up and break one of the things.
Break all the things, quitter.
And at the end, I had no screws left, which is a good sign. The manual was 8 steps, written in kindergarten language, which means just all pictures. It was
My
very
instructions,
easy.
my instructions came in Swedish pictures.
I looked at the manual and I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy. Shake all the parts out, start putting it together. Oh, fuck, I messed up. Fuck.
So can we torture him yet?
Oh, you're all
Nah.
sitting in the cellar.
We
Just
should
sit
leave
on
that
top.
for the professionals.
I am the professionals.
No, I don't think you are.
I'm going to definitely not be in the same room as Torment and a elf.
I'm just gonna tell him a couple of simple things.
No, you are not
Idle, I
touching
think
the
you slept
elf.
with us.
No, I told him I'm just gonna tell him if he doesn't tell us everything he knows, that the next time he goes to sleep, I join him in his bed.
Ooh,
You
giggity.
won't fit in that oubliette.
If it don't fit, force it.
No, I mean
Um,
Torment is physically too large to fit into the pit that the elf has been thrown in.
That's what she said.
Idle,
You're
you
too big to
slept in a
fit in her
different room,
pit.
unless you wanted to sleep down next to the oubliette.
No, I was with Teresa's slumber party.
Well, either that or I'll tell him I'll stuff the gnome down his throat and let him cut his way out.
So you're just shouting threats through the door down.
Yeah,
Can't
why not?
threaten someone with a good time.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it'll be a good time for Revert, but, you know, he might have problems. And what makes it even worse, I won't stuff Reveret orally.
Revert
What?
is becoming uncomfortable with the way this is going.
Yeah.
This is like one of those Thanos plans. Does Revert know enlarge or reduce?
No, he doesn't.
Funny you should mention that.
Hey, it's the old creepy dude.
Yeah, I'm not playing. I'm just hanging out in here. Can you
Quitter.
continue?
Okay.
Just felt like playing Insurgency tonight. What do you want?
Participation.
Sir, we're in high school now.
Yeah.
I get my participation grade.
Okay, hold on. I'm in 4 college classes that give me a quarter of my grade just for showing up and doing the hour and a half exercises once a week.
You have exercises like in class.
It's their way of calling it a lesson without calling it a lesson.
I only have
That's
lectures
right.
in
They
the
make
lab. They don't do
Sleuth do
fucking nothing.
push-ups in front of his computer.
I mean, I'll do it. I don't give a fuck. I'll do push-ups on my computer.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey yo.
Wait, so what was Tormund doing to the elf? Or wanting to do to the elf with his mouth?
Tormenting it? Probably.
He was gonna eat the elf? What?
No, I was going to take the
Torment-
gnome
Torment
and stuff
multiclass
it
into
up the ass of the elf and let him fight his way out.
Torment multiclassed into a blue book wizard, and he's casting Gnomish Suppository.
Um,
Mm,
Torment, I
I
believe
think
what
this
you're
is
supposed to
going
do
in
is
a very strange direction, and I don't think I have the right splat books for this.
yeah. Torment, I believe specifically what you're trying to do here is I think you need to take like a metal bucket, attach that, or a pail I should say, attach that to the elf's backside, have the gnome in there, and then light a fire underneath the bucket. That way the gnome wants to go through the elf.
That's too complicated for Torment
You
to figure
could
out.
really just use a rat.
Yeah, I know we can use a rat, but it had to keep with a gnome idea.
Are you guys not gonna call the actual professionals? Like, I'm
No,
not
see,
in the
I
room. I can't say anything. So
I am
just watching
advocating for
this.
the professionals, and isn't it still nighttime?
I mean, it's
Revert's
the wee
wandering off
hours
to
of the
go get some
morning.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Who are
Stuff
the
like that.
professionals?
Bring me some breakfast, please.
You walk up out of the cellar, and I mean, you're basically immediately in the kitchens, so there is food cooking.
Excellent.
You do notice there's a couple of the Duke's guards stand and watch at the doorway as you come up the stairs into the kitchens, out of the cellar, and yeah, there's it doesn't look like breakfast is ready, but it looks like there's servants buzzing about a little bit trying to get some food made. There's a lot of mouths to feed in the castle today.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you probably just perch yourself up on the counter and start snagging just stray pieces of bacon and fruit.
Yep.
All right, a few minutes of that go by before you hear some clanging down the hallway in your direction. Sounds like some armored footsteps.
I go and investigate the noise.
Before you even make it to the door, it opens, and the a couple of the Duke's guards, along with the Duke, walk into the kitchen. The Duke seems pretty disheveled. It's obviously very early, and he is not all that put together. He begins to, he looks over the food. He steals a piece of bacon, probably barely noticing you at all, and continues to walk down towards the.
Thief, arrest him.
I just following him. Still munching on a piece of bacon, right behind the guards. So the guards are walking behind the Duke, I assume.
They are.
So there's the Duke, then the guards, and then there's Revert, and Revert's just got this piece of bacon just going munch.
Yep. All right, so the rest of you in the cellar hear these people all descending the stairs, and yeah, the Duke shows up, and he's just kind of standing there eyeballing all of you. Says, so our honored guest is down in here, yes?
Yep. Still alive as of a half hour ago.
Well, let's see him then. And he motions to the guards to have the hatch open. And they walk over there and they pull the thing open. Duke is hesitant but he takes a moment and walks over there and sort of slightly peers his head towards the elf and says, "Well, let's have him up and out. Would he's basically just gonna point at Torment and Wilfred and say, "Would you two follow me, please?" And he's gonna walk over into the next room down there, which really isn't even a separate room. It's sort of there's a bit of an archway into like a storage space, and he's gonna point and say, "I need that table out from under that pile of junk."
Okay, and
And
oh,
I
you
need
want
it
us
now.
to do it? Oh, okay, okay, I
Yes,
got you.
yes. I'm gonna start unpacking that thing.
Yeah, me too.
I stand over the open oubliette, like munching on my breakfast still, so like little crumbs fall down on the elf.
Yeah. He's down in there like head first, so you're not really sure if he's noticed. He can probably smell the bacon, you'd think. I'm sorry, she. She can probably smell the bacon, you think. Yeah. So several minutes pass by. It takes you guys a little bit to haul everything out of the way and pull the table out. Pretty quickly, it's apparent that this table has some kind of winch on one side of it, and it's not entirely level. Um, it doesn't look particularly comfortable, but it does have some like straps on. Yeah, a little like that.
Oh,
Hmm.
I know those.
Those are pretty comfortable.
Dredge him!
Yeah, there you go.
Much, 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 much.
It's also a good way to crack your back. Get
I'm
taller.
fairly certain your knees and elbows are gonna give out first.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could brace those, and then then it would be your back first.
Probably actually pull your arms
Wouldn't the
out of the
wheel be
shoulder
better for your
sockets.
back?
I don't know
You
that
know how-
there's much you can do to brace that though, so that might you might not be able to do much for that one.
You know how people like pick up people from behind to like pop their back? That's what I meant. Like
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, but doesn't that also have like a bit of a bending motion on the back where this is just a straight pull?
I don't know how it works. I'm not a doctor.
Guys, we need to start the medieval world's first chiropractor clinic.
Well, you have your first customer.
They might be a return customer as well.
Okay, so you guys get the rack set up for the Duke, and he's gonna go ahead and say, "All right, now who wants to fish this guy out of there?"
Dibs.
Okay,
Open the oubliette and
by
I'm
all
just gonna
means.
snatch him out.
Well, I mean the oubliette is open. It's like I don't know, it's like a 20-something foot deep pit, I think. So How are you going to retrieve the man from the pit?
In there head first, didn't he?
He is in there head first.
Can I reach down and grab his ankle and pull him out?
Do you have a 15-foot reach?
Can we throw a rope down there and tie it to his ankle and drag him out?
How are you going to tie a rope to his ankle? He's 15 feet down.
Put a noose on one end and then drop it down in there around the ankle and then pull, and it should pull taut.
Doesn't the noose though need to be pulled taut at the base of the rope where the big knot is?
I mean, the weight of his body will do that.
Much,
if
much,
you
much,
pull-
much, 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 much.
I'm still sleeping.
Do we have a hook?
Why don't you look around in that room and see if you can find a hook?
I'd like to look for a hook and some rope.
Okay. Investigation check.
I don't suppose I can use survival?
No.
Okay.
What?
You do, in fact, very quickly find both and a lovely little device, which appears to be some form of pole arm with what is essentially a big old grabby arm on the end.
A man
That would
catcher?
have been really useful yesterday. Or Sunday. Saturday.
Fuck you, Slashbot! Fuck you! Okay. Alright. You said a pole arm and a rope?
You have a man catcher and a bit of.
Is a man catcher enough to, like, pull up an elf by the legs or something?
A man catcher has the reach property, but it does not have long reach, so it is not going to give you a 15-foot reach.
Right. But, like, would the man catcher's man catching bits be able to catch an elf, like, by the leg or something that's not the neck?
It's probably a little big. Really, it would be big for a human leg, and that elf doesn't have huge.
How far down there is the elf?
20 feet. So here's
Yeah,
my
20 feet to
idea.
the bottom, 15 feet to the top end of the elf.
Here's my idea. Tormund, hold the man catcher.
Okay.
I'm gonna. How long is the rope I found?
Oh, it's like 60 feet of rope. Really, it's a big old coil of rope in there.
I'm going to tie one end of the rope to the man catcher.
Mm-hmm.
How about I tie the
Here.
end? No, I got an easy idea. This is real simple. I'm gonna take the rope, hand it to Revart, lower Revart down there.
Yep.
He ties the rope
Yep.
to the ankle of the elf.
Yeah.
Comes back up the rope. We snatch the rope up and pull the elf out.
That's the idea I was going for too. Except I was gonna jump down myself instead of sending Rever, but
He's sending Rever because he's short, he's smaller, and he's easier. It's easier for him to move around. You could barely fit in the hole.
fair enough. I'm gonna shout for Revert. Revert.
I'm at the hole,
down here.
eating my
He's-
breakfast on top of the elf.
He basically, so Wilford just walks up to the hole, Robert yelling at you, and he just doesn't see you. You're literally at his feet, just munching on bacon as he walks up.
Munch, 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 munch.
Oh Lord!
Oh, shit, here you are. I'm gonna hand him the edge of the rope and tell him to jump in.
I jump.
Okay.
I do grab the rope, though.
Okay. Well, you descend 15 feet, and I mean, technically you should take some falling damage, but you land on something pretty soft.
Okay. I like hold the bacon like in my mouth like you would a knife. And then I tie the rope around one of the elf's ankles, and then give it like 2 sharp tugs, and then resume eating my breakfast while standing on top of the gnome.
Okay.
I was standing on top of the elf.
Yes.
I'm going to ride it like that picture of the guy on the girder.
God damn, yes.
Fair enough. Does someone pull the rope up?
Yes, Tormund and I should pull it up. I will start pulling it up.
Okay.
Tormund, you should also pull it up with me.
Okay, let's pull.
Strength check from one of you with the other assisting.
Tormund, you want to? What does the assist do?
Well, who
Yeah,
has the
yeah,
highest
sure.
strength?
You're a barbarian.
I'm pretty sure
you do.
Tormund has a higher strength.
Well, okay.
Yeah. The help gives you advantage, so you have advantage. Hey, with one pull on one arm, Torment just yanks straight up and hauls both of you at like breakneck speed right up out of the hole. I'm gonna need a quick, just teeny tiny deck save from the gnome.
Now, it does have to be mentioned I've been eating bacon. Are my hands greasy?
Somewhat.
Oh God. Oh Lord. Drop the
Yeah.
gnome down in the hole.
So the gnome is launched by this. The momentum is enough that the gnome loses grip and yet flies at the same speed as this elf body all the way up and lands right on the lip at the edge. Sort of teeters on the edge slightly, but is okay.
Much,
Now
much,
that
much, 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 much.
was cool, Reaver. That was cool. Okay, we got the elf. Now what?
Put him on the table.
Holding him up by. I'm just holding him up by his leg. Okay. Toss him up on the table.
All right.
I'm
he's
not
gonna
gentle with
He's
anything.
gonna motion over to his 2 guards, and he's gonna say, "Bind this good lady," and they're gonna bind the hands of the elf, removing the shackles from one arm at a time, and basically adding an additional 2 shackles and using those to attach the elf to the table.
Are the silver shackles still on them?
Yeah, there is 1/2 of a silver shackle on every limb. You can't see that though. You're not even in there.
Yeah, I just wanted to check.
Now the Duke will say, "Okay, I'm going to need somebody to fetch the executioner, please." And he's just going to kind of randomly point at one of you. So let's see.
Can't I do it?
Do you volunteer?
No, to hack her head off? Yeah, I'll chop her up.
No, he's asking for the executioner.
I'll volunteer.
Okay, well, he's probably not going to trust the gnome anyway, so if you volunteer, fine.
He's like, looks at the gnome, and then you volunteers like, all right, yeah.
Okay.
A gnome, an idiot, and a creep.
Wait. Which one am I? I'm the gnome,
gnome.
right?
Yeah, Torment, you're the gnome. Much, 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 much.
All right, so the Duke is going to say, how to get to the executioner's house?
AGR, do I know how to get to the executioner's house?
Oh, absolutely not. You've never been to the executioner's house.
You sure he's not like a neighbor out in the woods where no one else goes?
No, that's the murderer's house. You need the executioner.
Oh, shit. And to think I left him my keys. No, where does the executioner live?
Okay. The Duke will say, if you head out the south gate, past the Broken Wheel Inn, down south past the Merkin Stables, the headsman's house is in the woods just south of there. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to head straight down the road, straight all the way to the Merkin Stables, hang a right, and then your next left will be the headsman's house.
All right.
Once you return with the headsman, we will be able to get started.
Understood, sir.
Wow, it's really cool that you don't live here all the time, yet you know where the headsman is.
I rode past his house on the way here.
No, I don't remember that. Okay.
Yep, Wilfred will go to the directions prescribed.
Okay, you are going alone. I would like to mention this walk is not short.
Oh, is it like going back to my own house kind of far?
You don't necessarily know, but it does. I mean, it's past an inn that you don't know about south of town, past a stable that you don't know about south of town, and through some woods that you don't know about south of.
Ah. Hey guys, do you want to go on a walk with me?
Where we going?
We're gonna follow the river and through the woods to the executioner's house we go.
Sure, why not? You
Right,
coming right now? River?
Yeah, I'll come.
All right, we're good.
And as we're leaving, I'll like turn to like one of these like armored guards that like came with the Duke, and I'll just turn to him and just be and point at the Duke and be like, "Yeah, don't let him die. We'll be right back."
Yeah, what he said.
He'll give you a little salute.
Damn, you got stroke.
Wait, does this guy look like he has any visible wounds from being forked?
Roll a perception check.
Excellent.
Good. Good.
Excellent. Let's see. With my amazing senses.
Fortunately, he was poked on the back of the hand, so when he goes to deliver a salute, you see the little red mark on his hand.
Excellent. I continue about my business.
Okay. Guys, I'm going to get to give you a map that includes a little more of the province. That's going to be amazing.
Hey, can we? As we're walking, I'll ask him. Hey, can we swing by and pick up Emmy and Agatha and all those people? You know, let's get the gang together before we go off to the executioner's house.
We're getting the band back together.
The Duke will say,
Okay.
I certainly don't care as long as you're quick about it.
We can be quick. Yeah, so we go and we gather our party before venturing forth.
Fair.
I would like to state that We cannot be slowed by difficult terrain and cannot get lost except by magic.
Okay,
Mm.
And I'm also alert to danger, even if I'm mentioning that I'm doing something.
Yeah, I got that danger sense. I got that too.
This is from Natural Explorer.
Venturing forth, you must.
All right. So you guys begin your walk down the road out of the castle, down to the town of Sarkany, down through the town, out the south gate, and yeah, you begin your walk south. So I guess I'll start by just giving you the town map you've already got one more time, just so you know, just to help you start to picture some of this. So yeah, you head south out the gate, and a little further south, past what you can see here, you see that there is a what looks like a roadside inn. There's a stable, nothing big, not like a just somewhere to put your horses if you're gonna stay over. And it's a little like a motel. There's a stairwell in the front of the building, and rooms upstairs, and the bottom floor is basically a little tavern, right? It's got benches outside for people to drink, and the proprietor seems probably lives inside on the bottom floor. You see that there's a handful of travelers, merchants, and the like hanging out down here. Really, it's really only like a 20-minute walk out of town. But yeah, so you come to an intersection, and it's sort of just like a three-way. You can either go east or like southwest.
We follow the Duke's directions.
Which is sufficient. Yeah, so you travel east, and you you go for I don't know, another half hour or so, and you reach Merkin's stables, and that's a big open field with like a large walled stable in the front, and a big fenced-in field. There's a large number of horses just out grazing in there. And yeah, there's another intersection. There's a road that goes northeast and one that goes basically due south.
Did he give us directions for this part?
He gave you sufficient directions to get there. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of the lay of the land.
Sure.
And yeah, you travel further south still, and you reach the intersection that leads up to the headsman's house. So there's a big clearing in the woods here, and there's a house on one end with a big old dead tree, and there's a couple of pieces. You see pieces of rope that have been like cut, like maybe there was a knot done up and somebody couldn't undo the knot, so they just cut the rope off up on the limb of the tree. And on the far end of the property, there's a big hill, and on top of the hill, you see somebody has set up an elaborate like gallows. Additionally, there's a couple of small gardens, and there's seems to be a man working one of the gardens at the moment.
Do I recognize this man as the headsman?
I mean, you don't recognize him. The headsman's typically not very welcome in town for like long periods, so he doesn't spend a lot of time there.
I'll
but
walk up to him.
you might presume. Yeah. He doesn't immediately notice you, but when he does, he immediately attempts to shoo you away with his rake. He calls you a, quote, wee devil, and swipes at you with his rake several times, which does no damage.
Ow! 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 Stop it! Stop! The Duke wants you at the fucking castle, you madman!
I was gonna walk up on the man and look at him like, that ain't nice.
He's definitely put off by the sudden appearance of a Goliath.
Sudden? How did
Yeah.
he not see him
He was
coming?
very, very focused on this gnome who he was pretty sure was come to steal his carrots.
Are there
I mean-
carrots?
Any other day there would be.
Oh, those wascally wabbits.
So when he
Wait.
stops trying to rake me, I'd like just to confirm with him, like, you are the headsman, right?
I'm the headsman.
The Duke requires your presence in the castle.
And he sent you? I think not.
He sent all of us. We just like having the gnome interact with people. It's funny. The
He's
Duke
gonna
does-
look.
Gnomed.
Why don't you roll persuasion?
Me or the guy that just said that?
Literally any of you, but one of you needs to roll persuasion.
I'll
I
do
shall
it.
give it a chance.
Oh wait, I'm here.
Wilfred
Oh, we
said
got
it.
our long rest, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Wilfred. Okay, Wilfred, you have a 17. You have a chance. Tell me what you're telling this headsman to be convinced.
I'm telling him that we have captured a elf, and we need the elf interrogated because the elves are responsible for killing the Baron. This is the Duke's orders.
He drops his rake.
The gnome stage whispers at you, show him the bona fides.
What? Show him what?
That didn't come through clearly on my end. What? Show him the
Yeah,
what?
you cut off.
Show him the bona fides.
I'm going to show him the bona fides.
And what are those?
Reverend facepalms.
As a player, I have no idea what's going on right now. I don't
mean,
know what a bona fide is.
Assume it.
don't-
Your badge! Show the man your badge so we can get going.
Oh yes, the
There
badge.
you
Yeah,
go.
I show him the badge.
He's gonna look. He's gonna look at it, and he's gonna look at you, and he's gonna look at it, and he's gonna look at you, and he's gonna look at it, and he's gonna say, "Well, I know all your faces, and I am going to see somebody at the castle. So if I return home and something has happened to any of my carrots, I'll know who to blame."
I will. I would like to pick up Revert and like put him under my arm. Don't worry.
Can I try to snag a carrot as he's doing that?
Absolutely, make a sleight of hand check.
My passive perception is 13. I was gonna say that, making sure I kept an eye on it, but
So I bet he picks me up like just as I'm reaching for like the carrot. Like I was just about to grab it when he picks me up.
Yeah, you manage to get one little piece of like green sprout, and that's it.
Trevor, stop it.
Revert
Man
gives
is
you an
trying to
innocent
help
look.
us.
The executioner says, "Look, I'm gonna go get ready. Be off my property before I get." And
We're
he
your escort
walks
to make
through
sure
the-
you don't get killed on the way there.
Fine, wait for me at the corner. And he points you off of his property.
Are there carrots at the corner?
I'm gonna keep an eye on Revert the entire. I'm not gonna.
Well, right now he's like being like held under Wilfred's arm like a football.
Yeah. Oh, has the headsman gone inside yet, or is he like waiting for us to back up?
He's standing there waiting for you all to fuck off so he can go get ready.
I'm going to fuck off, and then as soon as we break line of sight, stealth and go back.
As we're walking away, Revert's going to mention, maybe we should fork him to make sure he's actually the headsman.
That's what I'm planning. Keep an eye on him first.
So, do I see Wilfred? Do you make it noticeable to the party that you're gonna go?
Okay, so the headsman walks in his house. Go ahead and make a stealth check if you're going.
Well, I would
Yeah,
like
what
to
ki-
do Blessing of the Trickster if I notice that he's doing this. If he does it without telling anyone, then he.
I would communicate the gist of what I'm doing to the party.
Sure, you're fine.
Okay, you get Blessing of the Trickster.
That's advantage?
Yep.
Oh my god, I have positive stealth numbers. I still have Revert under my arm, by the way. I haven't let go.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so you walk up along the edge of one of his vegetable patches where there's a little bit of shrubbery that you can conceal yourself behind. Most of this area is pretty open, so there's not a lot. Like his whole property is a big clearing in the middle of the woods, so getting anywhere near his stuff is hard. But yeah, you see him walk out, and he starts to walk his way back towards the road, and then you hear this loud snap, and you hear him shout, and he basically, he starts by saying something along the lines of "fucking shit cunt," and then he says "Saint Manos preserve us," and you see he's holding his face.
What? Say that last part again.
He's holding his face. He has his hands on his face.
What did the loud snap sound like? Like wood? What?
You don't know. There was just like a loud, it's just a loud snapping.
I look down.
Direction?
Is Wilfred standing on his carrots?
No.
Oh, fuck, not another garden.
So you see the headsman.
I mean, I'm
He
standing
takes
at.
he takes a minute. He takes a minute. Well, Gilbert and
Wilfred.
Revert both see this. Wilfred and Revert both see this. You see the headsman. He leans back, takes a deep breath, and then he bends over and he picks up his rake, which was at his feet. And you see he walks over to the side of his house and he leans the rake on the side of his house and he starts walking towards you.
Wait, he saw us?
No, but you are in the direction of the road.
Oh, what are we concealed amongst?
There are some slightly higher than waist-high shrubs at the edge of his vegetable patch.
Wait, I'm being hidden?
No,
No.
you're
What?
not.
Oh.
No,
Yes, I've been
you-
carrying Tormund under my arm this whole
Yeah.
time.
It's just Wilfred and Revert that are not at the corner.
I want to go back.
What?
Go back.
I'm
Come
gonna
back.
sneak
Who's that?
back. Sneakily.
Okay. You basically you don't think to turn around until he is very close. But there's this nagging feeling you get and something pulling at your shirt. And then you're like, oh, wait, maybe I should turn around. And you turn around and you walk back and you make it to the group. Moments before, the headsman would have seen you. And he arrives. All of you notice immediately that the headsman has a bloody nose.
I do not
What
laugh
color
out
is
loud.
the
I just
blood?
realized what happened.
It is red. He appears to be trying to conceal it with a handkerchief, but it is obvious.
So Idol's like half asleep, leaning on Emmy or Agatha or whoever's there. But this is her job, and she's going to just make sure that nothing is broken and patch him up a little bit if she can.
Sure, make a medicine check.
He got hit in the nose.
Does proficiency with a healer's kit help?
No, you're not using a healer. Okay. So
She's not
yeah,
very good at
Idol,
her job.
you're pretty sure his nose is broken. So you grab it and pull it real hard to set it. And there is just a horrible noise from this man's mouth as he repeats something some of you may have heard previously. He says, fucking shit, gun. And then there's like a spout of blood that gets all over.
I will immediately healing word him.
I thought it was broken. I'm sorry. And Idol's just going
He's
to.
he's just gonna like shoo you away with his bloody handkerchief and say, "Don't fucking touch me, God
Idol's just
damn."
going to link back to the
Well-
group and try to hide.
On the upside, I'm pretty sure he's not a changeling. This is good.
Do I notice? Does he like seem to be healed by?
Yes, he seems to be healed, although now he still has blood all over his face. It's just not any fresh.
Yep.
Let me guess. Stepped on the rake.
No,
He says, "Don't talk to me."
Let's go.
Yeah, and he
making a
starts
great
walking.
first impression.
That looked like a pretty bloody nose. So, you feel better? Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't respond to you in any way. He just walks silently. You get the feeling he didn't become the headsman by being a people person.
I like him.
That's concerning.
He stops. You hear him mutter some profanity, and he turns around. He says, "Forgot my ass." And he starts walking home.
gonna follow him back.
Yeah, he gets his axe, and he walks with you all the way back to Sarkany.
What kind of axe?
A big one.
It's a big headsman's axe.
My God, we're just on point tonight with gifts.
GIFs.
Don't you even think about starting that shit.
I didn't start it. You did.
Well, you're wrong, and you should feel bad.
You didn't start the flame war?
I didn't start the fire. It was always burning.
Since the gift's been turning.
Well, that's in my head now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's in my head too, AGR. That and the Sailor Moon intro.
You can shut your mouth.
Fighting evil by moonlight.
Rules of 3, AGR. Rule of 3.
Love by daylight.
You are really putting your DM inspiration in jeopardy right
Never
I'm
running
sorry,
from
I just
a
missed
real
what happened.
fight.
I was looking at my phone.
See the one named Sailor Moon.
now. Torment, if you have DM inspiration, you no longer have DM inspiration.
I didn't have it in the first place.
Does he have DM disinspiration where you can re-roll an attack against him?
No, that's only for the worst of offenses.
Playing a kinder.
Maybe not that bad.
We're talking like treason, not crimes against humanity as a whole.
Yeah.
It could have been worse, you know. I started singing Sailor Moon. It could have been worse.
I'm really surprised nobody had an It's Treason Dead give.
Is Sailor Moon a show?
Stop talking about it.
Do we get back to the oubliette?
You may get back to the
No,
castle, and the executioner walks into the castle, and the guards halt you and tell you, we believe your business is done here today. Thank you. You will not be needed. The Duke will let you know.
Hey, will you watch you chop the head off that elf?
Holy shit.
Please keep your voice down. Good day.
May I be present for this? The interrogation of the elf has been something I've been working towards for the length of this investigation.
The boss says he's got it.
Of course.
While they're distracted with arguing with the guards, can I just turn invisible and go in?
Make a stealth check.
Would my additional conversation with the guards be assisting him in this regard?
Sure.
I mean, he already gets advantage because he's invisible. That's a move.
Munch, 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 munch.
One of the guards is like, do you smell bacon? The other one's like, you're right, I do smell bacon.
I forgot breakfast. I'm hungry.
I had bacon earlier.
God damn it.
Might be
And
that.
they look around and they see a trail of bacon crumbs dropping on the ground. And you hear one of them go,
The munching conspicuously stops.
you hear the guard say, we were warned about you, little one. You can eat your bacon elsewhere.
Come on, Rev.
The guy is staring, probably about a foot to your left, but he's pretty close.
Okay. I maintain the invisibility, and I just resume munching and just like turn around and start walking out.
Okay. Yeah. The guard basically, once he sees the trail of bacon bits outside of the gate, he's gonna shut the wooden door and latch it, and then he's gonna just kind of blindly reach over in your direction and just like feel his hand around until he makes contact with some kind of invisible creature. If you don't resist, I'm going to say that after several seconds of awkward flailing, he's basically just going to like plant his hand like right on the like greasy cheek where you've got all the bacon grease smeared, and you know, he's going to like he's going to pull back cuz now his hand is just coated in.
Was it his
bacon.
bare hand?
Yes.
I'd like to
It
try
was
to lick
actually
it.
his human hand.
Okay. You
It was his human.
successfully lick the guard's hand, and he goes, "Oh."
And then I walk away with the party.
Okay.
Wait. So who's down in the oubliette right now? The headsman is down there, and then who's doing the interrogation?
You would probably know that, like, in this kind of medieval society, the headsman usually pulled double duty as the torch.
Oh, okay. So it's just him down there, like the Duke himself isn't there as well.
You don't know.
Oh, in that case, I'm just gonna ask the guards if they've seen the Duke. Have you seen the Duke?
Yeah.
Do you know where he is?
Yeah.
Will you tell me where he is?
No.
Rever, do you have any bacon left?
Just finished it.
Shit. Whose guards are these? Are these the Duke's guards or the Baron's guards?
These are the Duke's guards.
Ah.
Let it be, Wilfred.
Well, I'm gonna go fuck off somewhere. Wherever the party fucks off to.
Probably the bar.
No, we shouldn't go to the bar. We should stay in the castle.
We're literally.
So
at
are
the
they
front gate.
torturing the? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?
No. We unfortunately don't get to be present for that, despite the long list of questions I want to ask. Lost.
Question.
Mick, the sum total of what has been achieved is shenanigans. We got the executioner to conduct the interrogation.
More
The
shenanigans.
guards are now blocking us from taking part in the interrogation, which is greatly displeasing me. And now we're fucking off somewhere.
That's about right.
Well,
It's been like
if we
90%
can't watch the
shenanigans.
execution, let's go get drunk.
You're here.
If nobody's gonna stop me, I'm just gonna look for Teresa and just make sure she's okay.
You
I'm gonna
cannot
try
get
to find
into the castle.
Aren't we
Oh.
in the castle?
You walked up to the castle, and the guards let the executioner in and did not let you in.
Ah, okay.
Oh, we can't get into the castle. Well, that's not right. We did all the work, did all the capturing, and now we can't see nothing? That's not right.
Welcome to the medieval period.
We should have overthrow the proletariat.
Yeah.
We are the proletariat, you imbecile.
Overthrow the proletariat.
So here's the bit that you did explore. I could probably take at least one more of those clouds away, but that's me being lazy.
This feels like progress.
Yeah, I know. You've cleared a section of map for the first time in ever.
One what we haven't cleared, though? The mystery of what the elves are.
This calls for a crusade.
We should probably go to our boss's house. Let's go to Wolfland.
Oh, that's right. We work for him now.
Yes, we do. He is our boss.
Is he though?
Can I try to find a shirt on my way there? One that doesn't look like a peasant shirt and won't.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, can I
You
do
all
that
go
too?
shopping, Wolf.
Can I do that too? Oh
Son
my
of a.
god! What the
Mm.
fuck?
You find the fanciest of woodland apparel. The flannel is immaculate.
Wow, you have
I
real
am-
pretty
I am-
stuff.
What the fuck?
This is my
Bangbot.
second nat 20 tonight.
What the fuck, Bangbot?
On nothing.
There haven't been
I
any
am-
roll.
I am absolutely livid at the bang bot.
Holy shit.
Where was this on Saturday? Get fucking pity points here because we lost. Alright.
We didn't
what-
lose. We forced a Pyrrhic victory. That demon lost probably the only allies he had.
That's not how that works.
That
You're
seems,
not how that works.
that seems very optimistic.
No! Why is that PDF not responding? Oh, there we go.
Do I make the Wells DC?
I believe you do.
Great.
So yeah,
Also,
you are able to, you are both able to get like a small wardrobe's worth of like acceptable attire for someone who is a member of the middle class.
Nice.
Oh my god, why a nat 20 though?
Because you needed the finest woodland attire.
I gave you a slightly more generous version of the map.
Woohoo!
Wow, more farm fields.
Yeah, I figured you
So
could see
excited.
clear across them. So
Are you sure there wasn't like an obnoxious, like just single line of corn that obscured it?
I mean, no, but I figured I'd give you the benefit of the doubt.
Is that field that you uncovered the one where we fought in, or is that more close to the base of the?
You guys fought in the field directly south of Sarkny.
Cool.
All right, the one straight beneath the S.
More or less, yeah.
All right. Hey guys, I think at some point we should investigate those villages.
The what?
Those villages.
Charge!
Not now, but soon.
Which village?
The one south of Sarkny near the river. By the field where we saved those nobles.
That's just halfling housing.
No, that's the small little huts, I think, directly beneath the S in Sarkny. I'm talking the ones by the river. Go west a bit.
Is that a separate village?
To the west of Sarkny?
Yeah. By the
No,
river.
that's
No, it's
where
to
the
the
bathhouse
south.
is. To the, I don't understand. The directly south of Sir?
Southwest.
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
the
like-
river.
The thing by the river, that's where the bathhouse is, and there are
Oh.
a handful of other homes in that area.
Bathhouse.
There's
wow.
like
Ooh,
a,
okay.
We've already been there.
You've
Well,
been to
yeah,
the
I know that
bathhouse.
now. It's not like it was labeled.
Oh yeah. We have.
What is the broken wheel?
The Broken Wheel is a traveler's inn. I explained it a little while ago. You were here for it. I don't know if you were listening.
I usually listen and then
Oh.
forget.
It's a
Oh,
little bit
shit.
like a medieval Motel 6. There is a
They'll leave the candle on for you.
there's a stable for travelers to keep their horses in. There is a like a 2-story building, which is a long, pretty basic rectangle. There's a stairwell in the front of the building and many doors in the front. So you've got like a little balcony and a bunch of doors in a row for the different rooms. And then downstairs, they run a little inn. So there's benches outside for people to eat at. And the proprietor clearly lives inside. That's pretty much all you need to know.
Cool. What's up,
How many
Wolfland?
kids does the proprietor have?
You don't know.
Yeah, let's go to Wolfland.
Okay. Yeah. You walk over to Sir Wolfland's house.
What's up, boss? I don't actually say that. Emmy does not say that.
Oh, thank God! I was gonna kick you in the shin.
Sir Wolfland does not answer the door.
Should I just yell knock knock outside his door?
Oh wait, shit! The church. I'm gonna run to the church.
Okay.
We running now? Okay.
I'm using my double dash to get to the church.
Okay.
I follow.
Yeah, I don't run as fast as he does because he thinks he's a fucking idiot running down the street. But I'll follow behind him.
All right. Well, there are a bunch of people waiting outside the church right now. I mean, it's pretty much nearly every day they have some kind of little sermon outside. But today it just seems like everybody's waiting. There's usually a
Can
priest.
anyone hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
I was like talking for like 2 minutes and no one was responding.
All right.
I
Would
didn't even hear you
catch
pee
us-
up.
would this be like if they were resurrecting someone who died? Like our buddy Rickard,
Maybe.
who died, helping us, and we should make sure that he doesn't mysteriously claim sanctuary.
Who?
That noble that basically saves not Emmy, the other one. Ah, goodness. Sleuth, why did you change your name?
What do
Idol?
you mean? Of course I have.
It doesn't show up. You have to go out and back.
There it is.
You have to
Yeah.
come out back.
Yeah, but he's the noble that took all the heat whenever the elves came in.
Yeah. You guys remember him, right? And when I say I remember you guys, I mean like the players. You guys remember this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you do. I mean everybody else.
What the
No
fuck
one
is
remembers the
Ricardo?
guy that valiantly gave up his life? Really? Nani?
To be
He
to
was
be
going to
fair,
be like the major NPC, man.
to be fair, he wasn't Per Cobbler.
I remember him.
Idra, are we able to get in?
I mean, the doors are closed. There are people waiting to get in. There's like a big old crowd of people in the.
I will ask.
So,
Sorry, my brain's all over the place. Okay.
So there's a big line of people waiting to see Sir Wolfland.
No, this is outside the church. There's a big line of people waiting for mass. By the looks of it.
I'm gonna ask someone. What's happening? Is there something special?
You say, The priests have closed down the church this morning for something, and it sounds like we're stuck out here till they're done. I really hope it's soon, because I need to get my morning prayers in so I can get to work.
Did they mention any time, or they just said we're?
I mean, I haven't seen anybody. There's just sometimes they open late.
Is there a window nearby?
I mean, the church is covered in windows, but not on the front.
Hey, Idle, you have a pet owl, right?
Yes.
Cool. Well, let's go get it. And I like wink and start training it.
Okay.
And I walk away expecting Idle to follow me.
I'll follow.
And
Okay.
I'm gonna go to just a corner, an alley that doesn't have line of sight to like a lot of people, like something so I can break line of sight with everyone in the
Okay.
street.
All right.
Idle, conjure your,
I'll poof the owl in.
and I will cast
Poof.
Blessing of the Trickster on the owl. You can see through this thing, right?
Okay.
So why don't you just have it fly up to the window, like fly by, and just have it look as it's flying by,
I will send the owl to the church.
or
Okay.
perch up somewhere.
Have it look into the windows and see what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, so the owl flies past the church. There's a bunch of big old stained glass windows. They'd be a little high up, so they'd be hard to look through from ground level, but for your owl, it's real easy. Yeah, you can see there's a bunch of people from the clergy in there. It looks like it's hard to tell through the stained glass, but yeah, there's definitely somebody laying on like the altar up front, and it looks like it might be Sir Wolflin or some other noble that wears his same sort of with his same fashion sense sitting up there in the front.
I think they're resurrecting Rickard right now.
You're able to, uh, send a letter to him.
Send a letter to who?
To Wolflin. Are we still in the alley, or are we back
We're in
in
the
the
alley.
ground?
I don't see any reason you had to leave the alley.
Okay. Sorry.
Nobody mentioned leaving.
Can you just cast message? Like walk up to the wall, and like
That's not a very subtle spell.
is there somewhere closer we can get to that doesn't have
And if there's
like to the other side of the church?
stone or metal, it won't go through.
I mean, if we go to the back side of the church, we'll be closer to the altar.
What's the range on message?
120 feet, but it cannot go through a foot of stone or an inch of common metal.
Pretty
Or
much screwed wherever you go, because the church is it's made out of pretty decently thick stuff.
There's
yeah,
no
like
windows that are open.
There are windows, but they are up above, like your level.
An average defensive wall from medieval cities would be about 2 meters thick. Castles would be equally thick. Church probably isn't made to be a defensive structure, but just for structural support, it would probably be at least a meter.
You're definitely sure that the stone is more than a foot thick.
Yeah.
Let me look up find familiar. Well, I guess aren't you able to like cast through the owl, or is it only touch?
Only touch range spells.
Well, guess we're just gonna have to wait. I mean, there's no like side door to this thing that they have open, or right? Because I know there's a courtyard.
There is a courtyard. The courtyard is somewhat damaged after the rock incident. There is presumably a side door, but you haven't really been in the courtyard to look.
But the wall doesn't have a door, like out to the street.
The courtyard does have a door out to the street, and the gate on it is actually currently damaged.
Oh. Are there guards posted there, or is it just locked?
You cannot see from the alley.
I will go walk over.
The gate and a bit of that wall is pretty heavily damaged, but there do appear to be a couple of guards.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be keeping an eye on the owl through the, or an eye through the owl on the people through the stained glass window.
There's no open window big enough for the owl to fly in.
Make an investigation check.
My investigation.
Whoever is looking for the window. I mean, there's clearly, all the windows are glassed, but the bell tower is open.
There's a staircase. That's obviously more than 100 feet away. I'm gonna go back to the alley. Could you have your owl go through that opening and then just perch up so that they can so that it can listen?
I will get my owl to go through the bell tower and just find a rafter or something in the ceiling.
Okay. Your owl flies up and disappears into the bell tower.
I mean, he can look through its eyes.
Up to what distance?
Infinite distance on a plane.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can see. The owl flies into the bell tower and perches up above the bell.
It can't see the people inside from there, can it?
No. you can see a bell below you, and below that, it looks like there's this tower is mostly hollow. There's a stairwell that descends along the walls. There's a it's pretty much an open pit below the bell, all the way to the ground floor. It looks like.
Can I get the owl to fly down there and find a rafter inside the church? Or a ceiling joist or something to
You are
perch on?
probably now out of range to give the owl orders. From the alleyway all the way over to the top of that tower, seems very likely you're out of range to give any further order.
You are able to just like call it back to you. If you
Yeah, I'll call it back, tell it to find some, or we'll poof it back.
Mhm.
And have it find, go down through the bell tower and find somewhere inside the church.
well, okay.
Should I give it some other directions?
No, I can't hear what you're telepathically saying to it.
So, yeah, your owl flies off, and you can look through its eyes.
I'm going to mutter something about it being a smartass as it flies off and then look through its eyes.
Okay. Yeah, so the owl flies up into the bell tower, perches on one of the like handrails on the side of the stairs for a second, looks down inside the tower, swoops down through the tower towards the ground floor, and yeah, there's a boy who's sweeping down there, and he looks up at the owl. The owl like sees this kid and tries to swerve away from him, and basically flies into a closed door. So hold on a second. I don't think a 6 hits your owl.
No.
So yeah, the boy attacks him with his broom, and yeah, your owl kind of fucks off back up into the air a bit. He doesn't really see a good place to land, it looks like, so he flies around a little bit and just perches on a railing about halfway up, and then that boy starts running up the stairs after him, and he hopped back on the railing a couple of times while this kid is still chasing him, but the kid does get close enough to get another swing. It's a 10 hit your owl.
No.
Okay. So the boy swipes down at the owl, and the owl flies back up in the air and back up through the top of the tower. And yeah, perches way up at the top.
Some asshole kid.
What did you see?
Some kid tried to swat at the owl. It's just some guy sweeping.
Did you poof it?
No, it's still there, but it can't get down.
It didn't find like an open doorway.
I found the kid first.
So, based on what you could see when you flew down there were 2 sets of doors down there with the kid, and both sets of doors were shut. There were only 2 doors in that tower.
Yeah, there was a kid and 2 doors that an owl cannot get through. Alright.
Your owl is sitting there, and yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
shit,
why
the
don't
kid's
you make your
breaking.
owl make a con save, actually?
My owl is good at not those.
Your owl takes exactly 1 thunder damage as the bell begins to sound.
The owl poofs.
Yeah, the bell chimes several times, and after a minute, the door is open. A familiar pair of faces sort of limp their way out. The larger man, who you would know as Sir Wolflin, is sort of helping to carry this limping smaller boy out of the church.
Son of a bitch. All right. I'll head over to the church.
Yeah. You guys are terrible at infiltration.
Next time we get a spoder.
I was considering having Tormund throw the gnome up there. I
Yeah, 'cause
decided
that would be a hell of a throw.
I figured probably shouldn't for 2 reasons. I don't want Rever going splat against a wall, and I didn't want to steal your guys' infiltration time.
How large is Revert? Size tiny?
Mm-hmm.
He weighs 16 pounds, plus equipment.
An owl is size tiny with 3 strength.
How much does he weigh without equipment?
No, he weighs 16 pounds, plus whatever equipment he takes.
Ah, nuts. That makes him out of the range for catapult spell.
That also makes him out of the range of the owl.
All right, I'm back. Are we dead yet?
If you made your familiar
Yeah.
like an eagle, probably has higher
Yeah,
strength.
one of the eagles, not one of the eagles. One of the elves was in a crowd with an IED, took out the crowd and 3 of us.
Oof.
Gotta run
Sweet.
characters.
That's nice.
Fucking mean magic.
Yep. The survivors can roll initiative now.
I
Wow.
haven't rolled above an 8 yet. No, wait, I
Actually,
rolled a 9 on one of my portents.
I guess all of you should roll initiative. That way you can sort out your death saves.
I mean, given the point of the blast radius I was next to, I'm pretty sure I'm just dead, right?
Yeah, I think Wilfred's just chunky salsa now.
Can we roll for it? Can we roll a D100? Let's roll
No,
a D100.
I think I'm gonna side with Chunky Salsa.
Oof. Rust and Pepsi. Wait, he's so chunky salsa he can't even get rezzed?
I am
mean-
so chunky salsa that I'm pretty sure they can't tell
A
my
lot of-
blood
a
apart
lot of the
from everyone
people-
else's.
Yeah, a lot of the people that could have rezzed you were in the crowd, so.
Fuck.
I mean, maybe one of my like eyeballs, kind of rolls.
So
but,
continuing
like,
on, yeah, Sir Wolfland comes out of the church. Rickard is hanging on. He seems to not be in great shape. He's still got like he's still got some like visible scars and stuff going, but he's technically alive, which is good.
I'm gonna Assassin's Creed through the crowd to try to get close to him.
I'm just gonna walk through the crowd
I'd like to
like
do
a
the
normal
same.
person.
I pack up the breaching charge and then join them.
The crowd parts to let them through, and give you a really easy straight line to.
Awesome.
Are eagles and hawks native to this area?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. So Sir Wolfman sees all of you.
Rickard. You look great. And I'll go ahead and show where my scar is and smile.
Rickard doesn't have much to say, but gives you a thumbs up. Kind of still looking at the dirt.
Yeah.
You need hugs? You look like you could use hugs.
Please, no hugs.
Chill.
We're here in public. No.
So yeah, so he Sir Wolflin helps him, and they like limp their way in the direction of Sir Wolflin's house. Sir Wolflin sees all of you and says, "So if you need me, why don't we walk and talk, huh?"
Yeah. And you want us to like firemen carry you? Rickard?
Fireman. Why don't I just
Excellent.
throw him on my carry him myself?
Let's leave the boy some dignity.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, the first few days for me were very much a daze. Or at least the first few hours. Remember what I ate for dinner. I think we ate meat.
I'm pretty sure it was the bear asses we collected.
Yeah, that was actually the bear ass.
I'm
Actually,
gonna turn that into the guild.
I'm just gonna look at Rickard and smile as we're walking.
Yeah.
Just leave him be.
so Sir Wolflin, would you have us do anything? What can we do for you?
Did you get anything from that elf yet?
They
No,
blocked us
we
from
got the heads
interrogating
and
it.
then-
They kicked us out of the castle, actually, altogether.
I
That
smell
makes sense, I
conspiracy.
guess.
The Duke wanted to interrogate it himself, and or just let the executioner do his thing. They wouldn't tell us.
Yeah, but
Hey,
they
is
don't-
it too late to still interrogate? Has the interrogation been over?
No, they're doing it right now, but the guards at the front of the castle.
I know. What are the limitations of your like owl? Can it like can you call other animals?
No, it's
I mean-
familiar.
An owl's an owl. It does owl stuff.
Well, can you make something small like an ant or a bug? I don't know.
DM, we're in public, right? Like
I mean,
right
you're
in front of the church.
no, you're like most of the way towards Sir Wolflin's house. You're on the street, but you're not. There's not people here at the moment. The street's a little dead because people are trying to get in the church.
Well, I can get an ant or a spider or something. I think I don't really know. I'm still kind of figuring this out. But
Would you know anything about it, River? I've seen you have that bunny of yours.
How about we have this conversation inside?
Sure. Out of character, we can totally spider and then invisible the spoder and be pretty good for 90% of the infiltration.
We could also murder the guards and climb the wall.
TPK.
This is totally doable.
TPK.
Sure. How much you got on you?
Huh?
The spell I would need to cast to do that requires the consumption of some costly components. How much do you got on you?
Will you let me do a wealth roll, HR, to see if I got what he needs?
Go ahead.
Enough. I'm pretty sure I got more than enough, actually.
So you can get 2 castings worth then to turn it into a spider and to turn him back to normal.
pretty sure I can get you 4.
Well, we only need 2.
I want to give you an extra 2 just in case shit turns sideways for whatever reason in the future.
You can make your roll again then.
That covers like a shit ton of them. Come on. That's a 19. Let my 19
You,
mean
right now,
something.
this moment, you have a bunch. You might not at that moment. Rabble.
Are you bastard? 2 uses? Wait, let me
that's
pick
fine.
2. All right, 2 uses.
For this situation, that's what you need, so I think that's fine.
Okay. So,
Okay.
like, where do I go to, like, purchase this stuff?
If it looks like stuff you could buy around town, you
Yeah,
go around
it's like
town.
incense and charcoal and things like that.
So, like, can I go to local sage, Chinese, herbs, and,
You can probably buy
you know,
incense at the church.
You buy incense at the church. There's also an apothecary.
let's go to the apothecary or whatever. How do you say that?
Apothecary?
Apothecary.
Apothecary. There we go. Yeah, that place.
I might be able to get like a. I don't know. This is my mom's job. She
Okay.
might know someone.
Yeah, so I head to the apothecary. Can you come with me, Reverend? I don't know exactly what we're looking for.
Sure.
I can go with.
I go, we get the shit.
Yeah, you all go and you get the shit.
And it's the good shit. Then I light that shit up.
Did you?
Yeah?
Did you say? Did you say your mom works at that shop?
Mom is an apothecary in Sarkney and would have to get supplies from somewhere,
This is Sark.
or whatever the village is. Skeen. Too many S names. Right,
Okay.
there's 2 of them.
Is this your mom's shop?
She works in the village, but the village doesn't have much in the way of supplies, so she kinda comes or sends.
Okay. You've probably met these people in there, so they wave.
I'll wave back and let them know I'm working on some experiments.
Yeah, they feign interest in what you're talking about. They don't seem really that interested, but they're nice and they're polite and they smile at you and they offer you a piece of some kind of honey candy on your way out.
Is it big enough to share with everybody?
Absolutely not. It's like a cough drop sized piece of candy, which is mostly made of honey.
Okay. I will thank them on my way out.
Okay, so you get your casting components.
Yeah. And I presume we just camp out outside the castle walls.
I was thinking we should probably go to the clubhouse. Less conspicuous.
All right, so you all abandon Sir Wolflin, and he goes to his house, and you all go shopping, and then you go to the clubhouse.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
Then I guess we go to the clubhouse and we light that shit up.
Okay.
Smoking that dank incense. Incense.
Whoa.
God damn.
Okay, this campaign just took a whole 180 there.
I know this is medieval, but no.
Banned.
Every sentence tonight, I've been fucking up at least one word.
That's true. You have been talking about your speech impediment all night.
I do not have a speech impediment.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Okay, so Silo is now a spider.
What kind
Okay.
of spoke?
A
sneaky kind.
brown recluse.
Oh, fuck that. I was about to
Oh,
ask it to, like,
snap.
crawl on my hand, but no thank you.
I'll
Um,
roll my hand.
I will cast Blessing of the Trickster
On the
spider.
spider. I love it.
And I give orders to the spider to go and observe the elf interrogation.
Is a brown recluse big enough to
Okay.
fit through?
Brown
So-
recluses are extremely tiny.
Oh, okay.
They small boys.
Mm-hmm. What's its
Should-
move speed?
It's 20 feet. Should we get close enough to the castle and then just drop it
Spider,
off?
spider. It's
20 feet
just-
climbing.
yeah,
20
it's not
feet.
going to be
Yeah.
that fast, so we probably want to go like toss it over the wall or something.
Or just have it climb, just like walk up to the wall, poof it on the wall, and then have it just.
I'm gonna
fly.
carry. I'm gonna put it like in my hat, and we'll walk over to the castle wall,
Sure.
Okay.
and then I'm gonna like set it down so it starts climbing up the wall. And as I'm letting go of it, I'm going to cast invisibility on it, so it's now an invisible brown recluse climbing into the castle.
Okay. Well, make a quick sleight of hand check,
Why?
just to make sure that
I'm not being stealthy
everything-
about it.
you're not being stealthy about the fact that you're like out in front of the castle casting magic.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I guess I am.
There's not anybody who clearly could see you, but you want to make sure you're kind of
Yeah.
not making too much of a noise. Yeah,
I got
okay,
what you're putting down.
Sand River, does a spotter know where to go?
Yeah, I would have given it instructions like where exactly that interrogation room was to go there, and I'm like watching it through its eyes the whole time.
Yeah.
I am going to be AFK for a minute.
Do we walk back to the clubhouse as you're?
So
Someone's gonna have to carry me.
Yeah, I was
That's
about to
fine.
say I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
need
carry
to
you.
carry you.
I don't know what kind of communication skills this spider has.
None once we get past like 100 feet, I think, or a mile or something.
100 feet.
He can benefit at any time, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
But I can
you
keep an
jam
eye
it
on it.
back.
You can look through its eyes, but can you hear what it hears?
Yes.
Yes.
You can hear. You can basically receive its senses.
That's important.
Yes, it is.
Gotta get that telemetry.
Okay.
Telepathy.
So,
I
yeah,
meant to say telemetry.
yeah. So, what you hang out in front of the castle? You fuck off back to the
Probably
clubhouse.
back to the clubhouse
Back to the
to
clubhouse.
be inconspicuous.
Regroup.
Hey, maybe we should get some furniture for the clubhouse since we've been like basically living there. That'd be nice.
Doesn't it already have furniture?
Like the most basic furniture. Like a couple of benches. I think there's a stool and a table.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone like given a weird eye to the fact that a gnome, a Goliath, a 15-year-old girl, a random rough and tumble guy from the woods, and a guard of the city watch, and a random person from a village far away with a bow on her back have continually gone in and out of this house?
I would have received a complaint about a bunch of random ruffians entering a room, I think, by then.
Ruffians.
I'm not talking about complaints. I'm
Let
talking
me
about
put it this way. You can assume somebody's noticed, but you haven't seen anybody notice.
I'm sure someone's noticed, but they haven't done anything, and I don't really give a shit.
I'm not really talking about whether they notice. I'm just talking about whether they like look at us as we're going in and they're like, "That's fucking."
You
weird."
haven't paid attention to that.
I would like to start paying attention to that.
Okay. Yeah. So you make it back to the clubhouse. Why don't you make a quick perception check to see if you see anybody eyeballing you?
Since it's been brought out to the party, can I also make a perception check?
Sure. Agatha, you're distracted because there is a small. There's like a boy on a pig, who seems to be teaching himself how to juggle right now. But Emmy, across the road from that mess, not far from the clubhouse, you see this kind of haggard-looking little old lady who's watering some plants she's got in a trough in front of her house, and she just eyeballs you and she just rolls her eyes kind of as you walk onto the property that where the clubhouse is.
Okay. Operation Kill That Old Lady is a go.
Heresy.
Draws axe.
Then the old lady draws a bigger axe.
Oh shit. And then she shows her disgusting face. She's a hag. Oh god.
Get wrecked.
Okay, so you make it to the clubhouse. You looking to see what the spider sees?
Yeah, I've been like totally immersed in the spider this whole time.
Okay. So yeah, the spider scampers up the wall, across the courtyard, and there's like a little open, tiny window into the cellar. The spider skips all the other steps and goes straight in through that. And before long, the spider is on the wall near where the oubliette is, pretty close to where the rack is set up. And it makes its way up onto the ceiling, and it's looking down where there is clearly an elf, and the headsman is there. Oh yeah, that's nice. And the Duke is sitting. He's had a chair brought down to him, and it appears to just be them in the room with this elf who is tied down. The elf is on the rack, and there is a fair amount of blood. It doesn't look like they've cranked the rack back. It looks like the headsman has been taking a set of small knives to the fingers of this elf up to this point, and basically peeled 3 of them like a banana.
Oof.
3 of what?
This is probably going to take a while, guys. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can take care of some shopping.
Wait, 3 of what?
3 of the elf's fingers like bananas.
Oh,
Peeled
shit.
them. Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
Like down to the bone?
Yeah.
Ooh. Fucked up.
I mean, he's obviously interrogated people before, so he knows what he's.
Yeah, well, no shit.
You don't hear any questions. You do hear the headsman whistling.
Mm-hmm. I wait.
Oh, they just went straight to the torture. No like questions, just straight torture. Straight fuck you. Oof.
I'm greatly irritated by this. I want my answers.
Be patient.
Yeah. So this continues for a while. The Duke sort of tapping his feet to the whistling and humming along a little bit here and there. And yeah, the headsman runs out of fingers on one hand, and then he walks over to a little kit he's got, and you see him basically bandage all the fingers back together in this like really rough fashion, and he gets a um, tub, uh, like a big bucket, like it's like a wash tub but a little smaller, so it's a short wooden bucket, and he sets it over by the edge of the table and sort of scoots the elf's head up towards the edge of the table, throws a rag over the elf's face, and begins to pour a red liquid like all over the face, which collects in the bucket.
Hey, mister, can you take that spider gif off? Thanks.
AGR, can I see if I can start getting what is it? Fletcher's tools proficiency classes set up?
Yeah, you can go talk to the Fletcher. Why don't you make a wealth check, see if you can start that trade.
Let's see what the DC is. I'll get back to you later on that.
Sure. Okay. So after spending several minutes pouring whatever this red liquid is on the face of this elf, the headsman pulls the bucket off to the side and readjusts the elf, and then peels the bandages off the fingers and starts peeling them again.
And it's just silent the entire time.
No, he's like whistling, and the Duke is sitting in there tapping his feet and humming a little tune.
Oh my god, dude, please stop.
Yeah, I'm one off of the DC.
Oh, oh God, no.
And
Those people
what,
realize that spiders poop too, right?
AGR, could I spend a +1 that I have available to make that 9 and 10 or not? No.
You really need to do that before the roll.
how is the elf reacting? Is it just silent? Is it gritting its teeth?
They have something stuffed in the elf's mouth, except for when they're waterboarding it.
And the elf isn't making any noise?
I mean, the elf is thrashing around a little bit, but every time you see the elf like react away from the pain, you see the headsman just give a little shh, and he keeps cutting.
Oof.
In the house, so you guys actually don't see any of that or hear any of that. Revert just starts whistling. Same tune.
Cheeky boy.
So, how's it going, Revert? What you see?
Can't
He
hear
can't
us.
hear you.
I can't actually hear you guys.
We're gonna have to wait for him to
Yeah.
come back to us.
Yeah, he either can hear that, or hear us, or see that, or see us.
That's a real catchy tune, though. I'm gonna start whistling with them.
This could take a few hours for all we know.
I mean, yeah, I assume that we're just gonna let Revert sit there, and we're just gonna go about our business for the rest of the day.
It might not even happen today.
No, am I not?
If anybody remembers the whistle from Kill Bill, whatever that tune. Yeah, that one. There you go. Yeah. I like that tune. That's it.
Da 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 da. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So the headsman, he's got a little bit of a spring in his step. He's obviously pretty good at this. He's got some experience, but it's been a while. So he's got a little pep in his step. He's got a little, he's like shaking and grooving while he whistles, and he cuts into this.
God, what's next? The Funky Town video?
Yes.
Next is a huntress's humming.
The AGR knows what I mean by the Funky Town video.
So Robert, how long are you Firstly, is there like a duration on any of these spells that I need to be aware?
Well, the invisibility wears off after an hour. But so
Okay.
presumably, I want
Do you?
the
You
spider
don't do
would.
anything about it.
No, I
There's
can't do
a
anything about it.
spider in this.
Yeah, it's a spider. Probably where spiders would be in a dungeon type room.
Yeah.
Given the climate, this type of spider is probably not that unusual.
I think it's
Blessing
fine.
the Trickster also goes off after an hour,
Okay.
but it's literally the spider's staying still. So
Yeah, the spider's just
it
sitting
doesn't
there,
really
like
matter.
like a spider.
I don't think it's likely to be a problem, but I just need to know. Okay. So yeah. So the the torture continues for an hour. They do the same thing to the other hand and do another round of waterboarding. And yeah.
Oh, I have something. Is the bakery, the place that we get the cobbler, is that still?
Yeah, it's open.
Could I get? I don't know if you can buy just a piece or you have to buy a full cobbler.
Oh, you want to have some ready for River when he's done? That's nice.
What, like, can I buy it in pieces or do I have to buy a full?
They will sell you pieces of cobbler.
Okay. Could I get enough pieces for half a cobbler? Just buy basically just half.
Yeah.
Do I have to roll?
Yeah, you have to roll, but I mean, I don't think you're gonna fail. Basically, don't nat one. I mean, yeah, I guess really anything that's really terrible. Yeah, that's acceptable. You'd have to like, you know, get like a 4 or. Okay.
Okay, and then I'll bring that back, and I don't really know how utensils work in this day and age. But
Literally, all of you have to have your own utensils.
okay.
But you know, and while you're poor, you probably all own some kind of, you know, like
Wooden utensils.
wooden utensils. Yeah.
Do I know where Revert's utensils are? Does he carry a backpack?
Yes,
I
Robert
mean,
carries a backpack.
he has things. Yes, he owns
And
things.
is he still wearing that backpack?
Yeah.
Okay. I am just going to.
Revert, make a perception check.
Okay. Should I use mine or the spider's stats?
You should use yours. Okay. Never mind.
Female recluse spider, brown recluse spider, just cozy on up. It's completely. So I will just take one piece of that half of cobbler and just kind of like place it into his hands.
Roll out the window.
I think he's just kind of sitting there whistling blind. I don't think he's holding his hands out, so you'd have a hard time doing that. I don't think he has a sense of like of any of.
Okay, I will tap his shoulder then, and then put the cobbler in his lap.
Okay, you feel a tap on your shoulder.
All right, I keep my hearing connected to the spider, but I look.
And I have a
Alright.
piece of cobbler in front of you.
Yeah.
I
you,
eat the
you can
cobbler.
you can immediately smell cobbler. Like as soon as you get that tap and you start to avert your attention a little, you can immediately smell cobbler.
Yeah, he immediately starts to eat the cobbler and like through like mouthfuls of cobbler, he's like, thanks.
Thought that this might take a while, so give you something.
Give me the smile and the okay sign on my hand.
And then back to spider watching.
So, this goes on for like another 2 hours um, before a single question is asked.
Okay.
So, yeah, the this next round of waterboarding occurs, and right when the cloth is taken up off the elf's mouth, right before the headsman is about to put like the bit back in there and uh, secure it, the Duke stands up and says, "All right, well, I don't have all day here. Uh, why don't we start with your name?" And so the headsman stops and he doesn't put the mouth thing in. And you see the elf uh, basically just spits in his direction. Most of that spit is actually some kind of red liquid that looks like whatever she was hacking up a minute. Uh, and yeah, so the bit goes back in the elf's mouth, and the torture continues for another half hour. Then the same thing happens. The noble stops and says, "Okay, well, let's keep this brief then. What precisely did you think you were doing here?" And the elf just kind of quietly sobs, and the Duke says, "All right, let's change tacks then. Are there any more of you? Where might I find your friends?" And the woman speaks at this point, and she basically says, "There are hundreds more of us round ears."
Revert gets out some parchment and a writing utensil.
Okay.
And he begins keeping a transcript.
X.
Okay. Yeah, so she
In
says
Gnomish.
there are hundreds
Damn
more
it.
of us round ears. My sisters will be here to collect me soon. And he says,
Nani?
"Oh, is that so? Well, we'd best prepare a room for them as well. I'm afraid we may have to free up your bed before then, though." And yeah, he basically just points at the headsman, who continues the tour.
Ooh.
Who what?
I just remembered something. Did Teresa get stabbed and die?
No, she survived, didn't she? All of them were uninjured except our noble.
If you're talking about with the fork, then yes.
Oh,
Oh, I was thinking about the thing that we were talking about earlier.
That was
I'm confused. Yeah, sorry. Go back to doing.
So after the torture ceases again, the Duke starts to speak, and the elf says, "I am." She's gonna say, "I'm a faithful servant of the Moonlit King. He is my master, and you'll get nothing else from me." And basically, the noble is gonna say, "Oh, well, we'll see." And yeah, he's going to tell the torturer to continue, and he will. And after another 30, 45 minutes of this, he's going to lean in and say something. He's going to whisper something in the elf's ear. So I'm going to need a perception check from your spider. Not bad. Yeah, so the Duke is going to say, he's not going to say this in polite language. He's going to use some pejorative terms, but he's essentially going to say he already knows enough. He knows what he needs to know. He knows why she came, and he's no longer concerned. But she can stay here for basically until the end of her days, whether that be tonight or 1,000 moons from now. And she's just gonna kind of quietly sob after that. And the torture continues, but the Duke walks out.
I'd like the spider to follow the Duke. Ah, wait, shit,
Okay.
I can't communicate with him. Never mind. My order is to go there and observe the torture.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Well, not a lot happens in the torture room that you haven't already seen. I mean, the headsman gets more inventive. If you keep watching, like, how long are you going to watch? Because nothing really interesting happens for at least 30 minutes.
I watch for like 30 minutes, and then if nothing's going on, I'm just going to call it.
Okay, at about the 30-minute mark, you see that the headsman has basically he's attached a winch to the ceiling without noticing the spider not very far away from it, and there's a rope, and he's got this rope and pulley system, and he's hung it down over the elf, and he makes an incision into the elf's abdomen, and then basically attaches a hook to something inside of the elf's abdomen, like below the belly, and begins to pull on the other end of the rope.
Fuck.
Yeah, at that
That's
point, I think any
shit.
useful information's kind of ended here.
You do continue, like you close out your spider senses, but you still hear the screaming for a.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So just to be clear, Elf's dead.
Not technically.
River just kind of like gives you like
Definitely
that, like that, like hand waving back and forth, like not really, but you
You
know.
can survive without a surprising amount of your internal organs, especially the lower ones.
The elf would prefer to be dead at this moment, I think.
Actually, can we also get some clarification on what happened? Like out of character. So what? He ripped out a
intestines, probably.
Yeah, attached a hook, like put it around part of that and started to began to like untangle all of that and pull it out using a winch.
Medieval, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's disembowelment. It's not a pleasant time.
Mm-hmm.
More important part, though, is either the Duke already knows the information we need, or they're full of shit and had no intention of actually getting information out of the elf, both of which are unacceptable.
Right, I do tell the party that there is apparently someone named the Moonlit King involved, and apparently all the elves work for him.
That sounds
Yada
goody,
yada
somebody we
yada.
can
The elf promising hundreds of elves coming in retaliation, etc., etc. Serving the Moonlit King, blah blah blah.
the hundreds of elves coming in retaliation sounds like a crock full of shit. But I wouldn't doubt there's tens of them.
Tens?
Yeah, around here.
Why tens?
I imagine it's going to go like this, but with elves.
Ugh. Oh, wait, is that a spider egg? What is that? Is that a bunch of them?
That's a spider nest.
The more you know. The human one was pretty cute. I'll get it off. Where's the bait? Where's the bait? There's the bait. Got him. Got him.
What could possibly terrify Gilbert more than spiders?
Boob spiders.
Thinking you're gonna get some and then spoder.
No,
Nope.
he doesn't even watch porn, dude.
All right, so yeah, things got medieval. You guys are hanging out in the clubhouse.
Should we tell Wolflin what we saw? I don't think there's anything particularly useful there. Maybe. I mean, it couldn't hurt.
Is there a library in the city?
The church would have some kind of small library, but there's probably a much larger one in the monastery up by Skeen. Otherwise, not really. There's no public library.
Well, I know there's no public one, but one that, with our connections, we'd be able to get access to.
Mister, please, for the love of God, get that off the screen.
No, there's not like a library. It may be in the castle. There's some archives. There's no vast collection of like written works in town that you'd have access to.
I can
Right.
access the monastery library, right?
Possibly, yeah.
But not the one in town. Not the one in the main church.
Well, the one in the church is smaller anyway.
Yeah, but it's closer.
That is true. It is closer. You probably can't get you're not in as good with the people from this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, guys, I'm thinking next elf we don't turn over.
I don't know. That was a professional. I don't think that one was gonna crack.
That's not what I mean. I don't trust the Duke now. The Duke knows something and he's sharing it.
Could very well be.
Get him.
And that information got our Baron killed.
My God, that sounds plausible. That's spooky as fuck.
Out of curiosity, AGR, given how exactly does the medieval mindset work in terms of loyalty? Like, we're expected to be loyal to the Duke, but are we expected to be more loyal to the Baron?
Here's
Simply
how
due to
here's how
association?
the nobility works. Okay? When you took office, like you already were you're already you already peasants that like lived on the land of the Baron. All right, you were his peasants. All right, as in you didn't have like a right to travel to other lands. You worked his lands, and you didn't have like a lot going on. Your loyalty,
Sounds like a dick.
yeah, I mean that's just how medieval society works. He's not any different than any of the other barons, but basically, you know, you had a reasonable amount of autonomy, but you did owe a certain amount of like your crop yield or your labor to him. So
Right. But
once you were
like,
promoted and in the service of Sir Wolflin, generally the way nobles think about this is if you swore an oath to me, your loyalty is to me. But then that guy's boss is going to think if you swore an oath to my vassal, that's my vassal. So his loyalty is to me. So if you're being disloyal to me, then he's being disloyal to me. So there is a chain, right? And the thing is, every single person in that chain is going to tell you that you should be loyal to them first.
So we
Right.
basically don't ask, don't tell. The higher ups.
well, so effectively speaking, though, the people that we are likely to feel most loyal to due to exposure and whatnot would
Immediate
be
superior.
exactly
I would
because
agree with
they've
that sentiment.
been directly interacting with them.
You've literally, like, you may have seen the Duke visit at some point in the distant past. This is not an important enough place he comes over here all the time.
Okay, so this is very much a situation of God is high above and the Lord is far away.
Yeah, Wolfland may be a dick, but he's not whatever the hell
He's
that is.
our dick.
Yeah, there you go.
So I just missed that entire conversation because of my internet. So
To
this can't go
summarize
well.
then,
This
Meta,
can't go. Oof,
to
rest in
summarize
Pepsi.
then, I do not trust the Duke. I think he knows information that got our Baron killed, and our Baron's son.
I was talking about the information about the relative nobility and how they.
Oh well, basically, if our boss swears to another person's boss, then the boss links up, thinks that we should be loyal to them, but everyone immediately next to us in that line thinks that we should be loyal to them first, because they're our immediates.
Okay, so everyone thinks that we should be loyal to them.
Yes.
Yeah, the way medieval society works is if you swear an oath to a baron, okay? You've sworn an oath to that baron directly, but that baron has also sworn an oath to somebody, right? So there's a claim the baron can make that your loyalty is to him. There's also a claim that his superior, the count, for example, could make that you're loyal to him. And then his superior, the duke, might say you're loyal to him. And his superiority, the king, right? His superior, the king, might say you're loyal to him first. And they've all got a claim they might not all have equal power to exercise that claim on your loyalty. But all of them probably have enough power in certain circumstances to execute you if you're disloyal.
I think our policy should be don't ask, don't tell anything except our immediate superior. Makes things simple, keeps things simple.
I'm only loyal to the shop owner that I work for.
You took that badge, right, from Sir Wolflin?
You no
You
longer
You
work for
ninja
him.
stinking bitches!
Yeah, you basically like if you took the rock feather badge, which I believe everyone said they took.
I didn't.
Except the gnome.
Well, the
'cause he
gnome
was
wasn't
alive,
offered
yeah.
one. Yeah.
He couldn't be, unfortunately.
The gnome would not have accepted it. He does. Yeah, he doesn't bow to any man. He'll happily work for them for pay, but he isn't going to swear any oaths to them.
But yeah, so I mean I'd have to go back and check the recording to double check to see if you took the badge, Mister. But if you did take the badge, then you're basically you're like beholden. Like you're basically a man at arms in the service of Sir Wolflin, which would pretty much it basically means you would have a higher income. Your wealth mod would have changed, but you're essentially no longer capable of being employed by the shop owner.
Your shop owner would feel bad about that. I don't know if I done that. I don't remember. When did we get the rock feathers? After we killed the rock?
It was the next session after you killed the rock. Yeah.
Last week.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going to pop my spider back to me and change it back into a rabbit.
Yeah. Go. Yeah, so you you change your spider back into a rabbit. That rabbit's got some eyes on him, like he's seen some shit today.
Yeah, we both did, buddy. We both did.
Comcheck?
Yeah.
Dire?
Okay.
I hear you.
So what's our next move?
Mm,
Does anybody have a plan?
I was
Starting with
actually
fire?
kind of thinking about buying Brigandine.
Fancy lad. I guess she's a fancy lass, actually. Fancy lass.
there's the rock that still needs.
I'm
flying.
thinking we should capture and interrogate the Duke.
I think that's a bit
Oddly
too
enough,
grand.
I am of a similar mind. Perhaps
That is
not
a
as
bold
direct,
strategy.
but a similar mind.
I would get on board with that.
Hmm.
Quite bold.
That sounds like sedition. Way too much risk. God, we would no. Yeah.
Oh,
Why
of
don't
course,
we?
of course.
report
We
Well,
don't
we'll
to
dress
someone?
up like elves, and we'll make them think the elves did it.
Idol
Yeah, they got an
is-
8-foot
So
tall
they're
elf.
gonna catch us and torture us, and then do whatever God knows what they did, what you witnessed.
So as soon as this topic
Well, don't
is
get
brought
caught.
up, Idol is going to stick her fingers as much as she can into her ears, turn away, and loudly say, "I did not hear anything."
I'm
All
sure that will definitely be viable if we run into trouble.
Might I
Oh
propose
no.
that next time we encounter some elves, we attempt a more diplomatic approach?
So we capture them, and we
So
don't
we
tell
beat
anyone about
them
it except Sir
softly?
Wolflin.
So
You-
we
you-
beat
you-
them to
you-
death softly?
No beating to death. Repeat, Agatha.
So we capture them, and then have them interrogated personally by us and Sir Wolflin.
Precisely.
That sounds good.
Okay, so we
Do we
get
have
to
any
report.
manacles?
Okay, I can do that.
I didn't bring manacles with me. I should probably buy those too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys left your silver manacles on the elf that we no longer have access to.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go up to the castle and ask them to give us our manacles back?
They were their manacles in the first place.
Semantics. You know, you're not making this easy on us. You can't just follow the rules. You gotta, go with the flow.
That familiar stuff is super handy. Like, no joke handy. So I presume our next immediate move is to report to Sir Wolflin?
Why? Do you think he knows anything about the Moonlit King?
No, but I'm sure he'd be interested to know what happened.
Yeah, but what do we get out of it? Why would we tell him?
A sense of pride and accomplishment.
Do I look like someone who buys EA?
We should probably inform him as he is our superior and patron. Not yours, but a fair portion of our group. It'd be better to have him on board.
All
He
I'm
has
saying
more
is
resources.
right now, we know some information. We don't know how valuable that information is. We also don't know how dangerous that information is. Merely mentioning the Moonlit King to him could have him try to kill all of you to keep the information contained.
So
at
Fair
this
enough.
point, it's probably pretty clear without even listening that the topic isn't being dropped. So Idle is going to walk outside and
What? No, I'm just talking about not telling the nobles what we learned. I'm not talking about kidnapping any of them yet. Like no one's really seemed to really want to go for kidnapping the Duke. The
that
party
sounds
as a
suicidal.
whole didn't want to do it, so he dropped that. It was just he's questioning why the party wants to tell one of the nobles what we know.
she has been making an active attempt to not hear anything, and nobody's mentioned anything to her. So she's just gonna head outside.
let's go kill some rocks.
But before we do so, though, I see where Everett's going with this. The Moonlit King information itself, we should keep private for now, at least.
Let's go find the Moonlit King and stab him.
It might be a good idea to at least speak with Wolfland of any interest that the Duke might have in the town itself. Effectively, I smell political intrigue of nobles here.
All the more reason to get out of town and hunt a rock for a few days. Let the nobles short their bullshit out, and we don't end up as collateral damage.
At this rate, I think the rock fight is a safer bet.
I mean, what if the Duke decides to go North Korea on this county?
How many men would he have access to, AGR?
He could technically enlist any of them in town.
Yes, he came here with a small retinue of his own. Somewhere between a dozen and 20 men, I believe, not counting his children. But he also had various servants. But yes, he would technically have the authority currently to, because the baron was the duke's vassal, and with no heir, this entire county has reverted to the duke. So, at least for the time being, the duke's the boss.
Mm-hmm. Right, and he would be able to get levies and all that, but they would be fairly green, I assume, right?
I mean, if he
While
wishes
we
to
could
raise
probably
levies,
take
then it'd be
them,
great.
do you really want to fight your neighbors? Do you really
Oh,
want to kill
absolutely
your neighbors?
not. I simply want to
Yes,
have
why
an
not?
estimate of how many trained soldiers he has, just so we know.
At least a dozen. They were pretty heavily armored last I checked.
The ones that you are certain would be loyal to him because they came with him, somewhere between a dozen and 20. The ones that live in Sarkany, that are trained, probably at least that many again. Are you counting the town watch? One of you is the town.
I would
Was.
include the town watch.
That's true. Was.
It's an extra dozen at least. I suspect it's more like 17, 20-ish.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
we're
all in
looking at
all,
about like 50-ish trained combatants.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some of them stronger than others.
Right. I just want to make sure I know the numbers we're looking. Not because I think we should fight all 50 of them, but it's good
Yeah.
to know.
There's quantity and quality, but quantity has a quality all its own.
are we counting the knights local to the province? Because I mean, there's Sir Jacob, there's the Wolfland, there's one other knight that I don't have his name pulled up right now, but he fought in the tournament.
100 untrained peasants with spears could probably take us as a group right now. Well, take you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be out of there.
Absolutely. 100 peasants could easily take us. I'm not saying we can win a stand-up fight, not the slightest. I simply want to know what numbers we're looking at.
You're not, like, planning on turncoating to the elves, right?
Oh, God, no.
Okay. I just had
We've
to
probably
make sure.
killed a few too many of them to do that.
Yeah.
Although, if we could deceive them in the short term, that would be quite nice.
Now, if the Moonlit King has a Fey rival, maybe that would look at, someone to align to interfere in his plans, which are fucking with us. Draw the Moonlit King's attention elsewhere for a bit. That's why I was asking about the library in town, is because I wanted to go do research on this Moonlit King and who is he, if he has any known rivals, things like that.
Well, how important is that information to you? We might be able to barter it with the church at risk of spreading the Inquisition to our throats.
Here's the thing. Right now, I trust the people in the party, and that's it. I don't think
agree.
we want anyone outside the party to know that we even know the words Moonlit King. The minute we tell anyone else about this,
So it's a secret, right?
it's a secret. We could become targets.
Would AGR, would Emmy have access to, at the church archives, list of genealogies and claims that the Duke has?
If you're looking for genealogies and claims, you'd probably find a copy of that at the castle. You would probably also, I mean, really, if you went to probably any castle in the region, you could find a book of genealogies and claims that would be relevant to the region.
But the castle itself,
Yeah.
what would a church have?
I mean, the church is going to keep track of these things, but they don't have the official documents. They do probably track various bloodlines, not necessarily what claims they have, although they probably list the titles of particularly important individuals. But yeah, The church archives are going to contain a lot of other written records, though.
Hmm.
So you guys want to head to Sir Wolfland's house? Is that what Emmy is saying?
Agatha's got a lot on her mind, and I think she'll better process this after going on a little shopping spree. But yeah, sure. That sounds good to me. Sir Wolfland's house.
Okay. All right. Agatha, do you want to go on your shopping spree first before we deal with this stuff, Emmy?
If I have time. I don't think I have time though. Yeah, I feel like trying to like barter and like check the product would take like half an hour.
I mean, you could go
So
with
I'd
the.
go with the party.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you head back up to Sir Wolfland's house. Um, a young woman answers the door. She appears to be like a servant, one you haven't really seen before. But she lets all of you in, and you see Sir Wolfland is sitting in his drawing room. He seems to be uh, composing a letter or something at the moment.
Yeah, these days have been rather eventful. We wanted to know if you still wanted us around on retention, or if you were still interested in us pursuing the rock.
Sir Wolfland will look up from his letter and say, well, I was not able to send anyone after the rock, but for the moment, I think you're needed here. Perhaps when this business with the Duke is concluded, you will still be able to go on your hunt.
What specifically can we do? They don't even let us in the gates.
As much as I've noticed that the trouble seems to follow you lot around, were you not to be here uh, while some sort of elf attack were ongoing, uh, well, that would be on me for not having the forethought to keep you here. I don't know where you can be used of yet. I would like you on standby. I'm sure they will let you in the castle soon. I will go and see what the holdup is with that when I am finished writing.
Yes, sir.
You hear, like in the next room over, there's definitely some like shuffling sounds. It sounds like maybe cabinets closing and opening and stuff.
Can we get can we get visual on what's going on?
There is a closed door in towards the back end of the drawing room here, and it's whatever it is on the other side of that.
Probably a Rickard.
Would it be AJR? Would it be inappropriate for us to check?
Yes.
All right. What kind of rooms are typically attached to drawing rooms?
You don't know. You never been in one.
Actually, does Sir Wolflin know where to find us? Is he aware of the clubhouse?
I mean, we literally snoop around right outside his house. I'd hope so.
Yeah, it's. I think it's an open secret, really.
Snooping.
Okay.
Also,
That
it's a
are
really convenient place to have all of your goons like right across the street from you.
You do notice that you've been staying there a long time, and remember when that murder happened in that house down by the Bakers, Ted's house, and then almost immediately the church had like snapped it up and they were doing something with the property. Nobody's come to collect the furniture from the property.
Huh.
Note to self: the church may be in on the conspiracy. Revert could have been right.
Robert's been right all along. The church was behind the entire elven incursion.
While we're considering these things in our head,
Our head and nowhere else.
yes.
you
Assuming we're
guys weren't-
done here,
You guys
I'd
weren't
like to
yelling this in
go
front of the
shopping.
church?
Okay.
Hey guys, I think we're actually getting some downtime.
You're all dismissed.
Very good.
Goblins.
Downtime. That's a weird word. Wait, how long
Okay.
has it been since the start of this quest? Like a week and a half?
Do you want me to go look? I can open up the calendar and check for you.
I am curious. Just like the last couple sessions have had a really weird time compression for me, so I'm not actually sure how long it's been.
Okay, hold on a second. I gotta load up the goddamn.
It could also just be the blood loss.
Yeah, that'll do it too.
How does Wilfred look? Are you still at 1 HP?
Oh no. I just haven't been able to reach max for a couple days.
He's at 2 HP now.
Actually, I'm at like 10, a little more than half. So I'm just barely not bloodied anymore.
Yeah, I'd like to buy attempt to buy not Gabison. What the hell did I call it?
Brigandine?
Yeah, that thing. The fancy medium armor.
Do it.
Oh, but first I'd like to buy some manacles. So that way the shit roll lands on that.
Okay.
Nat 20 and Nat 1. Watch.
All right.
Could I buy 2 sets of manacles so I can hog tie someone, hands and feet with that?
Yeah. What is the what do manacles cost? And then are you getting plain manacles or silver manacles?
I could get silver manacles?
Yeah, but they're like a masterwork item, so they're gonna cost a lot.
Well, let me see how much manacles cost. Are you gonna go to the player's handbook value?
Yeah.
One moment, please.
Okay. So while he's doing that, is anybody else doing something? Oh, somebody wanted the calendar. Let me look at that. So what date do you want me to start with? Like, uh,
The day the murders were first encountered. So
well,
basically the night
the
that the guard got
Lord's.
killed.
Okay, the night the guard got killed. Okay, that was on the 76th of spring. Okay. And it is now the 87th of spring. So it
Oh,
is.
so it's been 11 days.
Yeah, they're 2 gold pieces. If I'd known that, I would have definitely gotten the silver manacles.
Okay.
I would like to look for a city healer or something. Somebody to teach me actual medicine.
I mean, Well, let me put it this way: if you want to learn the medicine skill, you're either going to the apothecary, apothecary. I can never. It doesn't matter. You go in there, or if you really want someone else who knows the medicine skill, who's really anatomy, is the headsman.
How far is skiing away?
It was a couple hours.
Oh shit! You could have had a great inn to get into the castle. I'd like to learn anatomy from the headsman. Use the elf as a dissection dummy.
Over 7 attack.
So it would probably be bad if I was going to skiing every day to learn medicine from a
I mean-
family member.
Probably, yeah. That would take a lot of time.
I wanna go, guys.
All right.
Have a good
See
night.
you later.
I'll look for an apothecary here.
You can roll. Sorry, you can roll. Yeah, there's an apothecary in town. You can find them. It's easy. You make a roll to see if you can afford the skill train. I mean,
They are masterwork, so it would make sense.
yeah.
12.
I don't have the guide open, so I don't know if you get your training or not.
I am looking. I don't know where
I think
everything
it's
is on the guide.
probably 15 or something, isn't it?
Skill
Skill train.
proficiency is 10.
Oh, okay. Not too bad. That's going to take some time, though, so mark that you're starting it.
It looks like 3 successes to me.
Good job.
I'm going to go ahead and try to get that brigandine.
Okay.
You said it was the 87th?
I don't do the thing.
You don't do the thing.
It
That's
was
the
87th.
87th. Yeah. It's almost summertime, guys.
Before I forget, could I try to get a Pevice shield?
Sure, I haven't statted it out, but go ahead.
No.
Nope. I don't know. What do the other shields cost?
8 gold. Well, not 8. It's a DC 8, so I definitely know for sure a specialized shield will not. Yeah.
No, this is a bigger shield. It would cost a little more, but
That makes sense.
I mean, it is essentially just a couple pieces of wood, but
But this is a
Yeah, but it's
fancy thing.
fancy.
You're going to stick
It's
this shield
fancy.
in the floor. Well, in the dirt.
Yeah.
I've already fronted the longbow training, and I can't do the Fletcher's tools proficiency, so I might as well do a day of longbow training.
So yeah, you guys start to take some downtime. Is there anything you guys want to do with the rest of like today? Do you want me to skip ahead a little bit?
How much downtime do we get?
Well, I mean, really, you don't know, but like out of character, I'll tell you, you have at very least a week.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to
in
be
that
trying to
case-
get the Fletcher's tools proficiency training cost every day, basically.
No, well, you can look
Every other day?
once a week for the things you are trying to get. So you can have one more roll for next week's roll.
Okay. Oh, does that apply to all the rolls or just the tools?
That applies to anything you're attempting to do again.
Ooh, huzzah. Can you heal Gilbert? That'd be nice.
Yeah. So, Revert, what are you doing with your time this week?
I am continuing my investigation training.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't seem to. I'm might because I'm half asleep, but Oh, found the training section. There we go.
Do any of you do anything other than spend downtime during this week?
I would like to, if there's a market day, stock up on alchemical supplies and healing kits. I'm running a
All
bit
right.
low.
Well, if there's something specific you're trying to pick up, you can make a roll for it. If it's just, all right.
I would also
Woohoo.
like to prep, not prep, skill training.
Yeah. What skill training?
I would like to personally go for investigate and how often I've been using.
Okay. Well, technically, you get 2 rolls. If you succeed on the first one, you can go ahead and mark off a week of success on your. Yes, I see that you got Brigandine. Whatever else you rolled for, you had a bad time.
Okay, that was not for the Brigandine AGR. That was for the Climber's Kit.
Yes, I saw that you succeeded on the Brigandine already.
No,
You
no,
should
no,
tell
no,
me.
no. That is the Climber's Kit. I called it beforehand. Before I rolled, I did the thing. I first attempted the tools training, and then the Climber's Kit, and then the Brigandine.
Oh,
Yes.
that
I did
makes
that
it
ahead of
easier to
time, so that way I couldn't just,
I would have assumed you were doing the Brigandine. I didn't know about the Climber's Kit because I didn't read the line. That's
yeah,
very unfortunate.
trying to be honest.
No, that's good. All right. Yeah, your 8 does not get you a skill training, so you can try that again next week.
Can I do the medicine lectures or lessons or whatever, and then for the rest of the day work on alchemy, like making healing draughts and potions of haste?
You probably can't spend a work day doing both things.
Half a work day?
I mean, you can just spend every other day doing other things.
Could I see
But-
about getting masterwork arrows again?
Well,
Yeah.
Also, what was that about a second roll? I didn't hear the rest of the statement.
I told everyone you have at least a week of downtime. So if you made your first roll before that, right? Before that week elapsed, you would have a second roll this week. So you have another chance to roll for your.
Oh, okay. So I make that next roll?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Nope.
I think you
Yes.
do succeed. Yes.
So I mark down a week?
Mm-hmm. All right.
Wait, do we have to roll for every week that we do on training?
No, just the week to start it.
Got it. Okay.
If you succeed, you have to wait a week and try again. But it affects how much training you've been able to clear during this period.
Right.
All right, make a search to see if you can find someone who will make you a masterwork short.
Sorry?
No, Emmy was making a roll. Okay, so is anybody doing anything else during the week that is not downtime related? Is there anything at all quest related that you would like to do, at all plot related you would like to do, at all anything you would like to do that's not dick around and
During some of the time I'm not training, I would like to, if possible, kind of search around the surrounding areas around town, the woods, all that kind of shit. Investigating honestly for any signs of elvish activity.
While you're doing that, total hint, you should totally get some crossbow bolts and a bolt case, since you got that fancy crossbow.
Oh my god, that's right. I totally forgot I had that fancy crossbow. What are the properties of that crossbow?
Light, loading, ammunition, range fitting, optimal range fitting, max range 90 feet.
And here's the thing. You
Thank
still have to use the regular crossbow thing if you want to see what a crossbow does.
Right, but like this isn't a fundamental change. It's just a fancy version.
Yeah, it's a fancy version.
All right. Yeah, can I also acquire the bolts? Wealth roll shit.
As long as your thing is not 0 or below, I'm pretty sure you're good.
Fuck you.
Oof.
Fuck you,
Yeah.
Micmac.
You
Fuck
fucked
you.
yourself. You fucked yourself there.
Basically, people see your fancy shirt and your fancy crossbow, and they try to jack up the prices all day.
Did I try to do it in his stead?
I'd like to go investigate the surrounding areas for signs of elvish activity.
Okay, make an investigation check. All right, Emmy asks Revert for the transcript of the interrogation.
Okay. Sure.
In Gnomish.
Yeah, I wrote it in Gnomish, but yeah, sure.
Gnomish.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he's illiterate in Common, and everybody else is illiterate in Gnomish.
I feel like Gnomish might just be written in wingdings.
It is. I mean, would it interrupt downtime to make a copy of that in common?
No. Your
Then sure.
downtime is like, it's like light activity stuff. You can do training during your downtime. You can dick around. Really, it's not even necessarily a problem to, like, cast a spell or two, as long as it's nothing, that's substantial amount of your time and energy.
All right. I ask her if she's sure that she wants me to put in common references to the Moonlit King.
He's just gonna write redacted over and over again.
There we go. I was about to say, yes.
I mean, that's what I was leaning towards. I'm like, you know what? I'll ask. Do you want me to redact? Okay. All right. Yeah, I will redact the sensitive information in the transcript.
It's mostly just screaming.
It's mostly like very vivid
Quite
descriptions of torture. This is medieval torture porn.
Big.
And a little bit about how there's hundreds of elves.
Emmy accidentally just invented
Hundreds of
torture porn.
redacted.
Yeah, there are redacted elves. And then it's like the next paragraph is just redacted, which is the Moonlit King. And then it ends with the disembowelment. That's not redacted.
Does it include like the sound effect sounds of intestines being ripped out?
Yes. It describes the schlepping sound that the intestines made as they were strung out of this
The
person.
sound of the rope on the winch, and that wet sound.
Oh god, my intestines are actually aching now. Ugh.
The sound of like chains and wood rattling as this elf is trying to get off the fucking table.
Gonna be honest, feel a little bad.
On the wrong team. Rest in Pepsi.
I was gonna be way nicer about it too.
Well, I mean, if you
Ouch.
were going to be nicer, that certainly doesn't seem like an argument in favor of the nobles letting you do.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. And I wouldn't tell the nobles that. I was gonna go the route of sleep deprivation.
That would be simple.
So, all right.
That and I could potentially MK Ultra that elf if I can sleep deprive them enough.
One of these days, I should get hooked on phonics, how to read. That would be nice.
They can probably teach you how to read at the church. It's probably about the same thing as getting a skill proficiency.
I have to keep that in mind.
At what point is literacy? Like, are all peasants more or less illiterate?
More or less, they are all illiterate.
Would
Emmy
14?
can read, and so can Revert.
Is 14
Idle
intelligence too low?
Idle has like, since you've worked at a shop that like I feel like it might be a thing. You probably aren't that well read. You probably don't have a wide vocabulary, but you've probably read a little bit.
Semi-literate plus.
You know, when it comes to like directions for mixing specific things, you can read a lot of that.
Oh, kind of unrelated, but does that 12 I rolled turn up anything?
Oh, okay. So yeah, you wander around the perimeter on both the outside and inside of the walls, and you roam around a little bit over the course of these days on your free time. And you don't really turn up any signs of any additional elvish activity, nor are you ambushed and murdered. So,
Shit, I was actually hoping for that last part.
Roll a D100.
Elf jumps out of the bushes. My response, gotcha, bitch, just what I wanted.
The D100 was not to see whether or not you got ambushed. The D100 was how many elves ambush you.
Oh, come on, give me 100. Give me 100 elves coming out of one, but
73 elves.
73 elves come out
Riding
of
on giant spiders.
I don't know how many elves we need to kick your ass, but I know how many we're gonna use.
If it's not all of them, it's not enough.
I think that's dead.
Yeah.
Let me test something really quick. Does 6 damage kill all of the elves that jump me? All 73 of them?
Let
Yes.
me check. No, it doesn't.
Oh.
Can I go hunting
For
and like
elves?
have that for like my longbow training? No, just like small game.
I tell you what, if you, I mean, Sir Wolflin is in town. You could go hunting with him. You could go hunting small game. You know,
I can go hunting with him?
I mean, you know, he needs somebody to carry some of his stuff. Right now, his squire doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Huzzah.
The squire broke.
The squire will be okay in a few days.
No, well, I mean, you know, Sir Wolflin will basically let you borrow a horse. He'll ride out with you to the stables down at Merkin Stables, and he'll pay to rent a horse basically and let you borrow it. And yeah, you guys will ride out. You're a little unsteady, but I remember you did learn enough about how to ride. And
Mhm.
yeah, you guys can ride out, and you know you have to like bring him stuff, and you know be like when you're not actively hunting during the time, you have to kind of be a servant. Uh, but yeah, you get to hang out, and then you guys can like hang around and hunt, and that'll be longbow training. That's fine.
Huzzah. Very good.
During this time, he will probably confide in you that he was writing that letter to the family of Rickard, who, you know, they're not thrilled about his whole dying situation. They've already ridden him back, and there's some concerns there. Sir Wolflin is going to basically tell you that he's recommended that Rickard go ahead and be knighted, but his family appears to now be opposed to the idea, so he's trying to sway them towards it a little bit before he commits to anything.
Hmm. Hey, GR, I'm not familiar with the medieval system. Would Rickard be considered an adult at this time?
It's early to be knighted, but clearly, like he expressed some uncommon valor. Really,
Absolutely.
he's before 16, and 16 would usually be like the early side for that, But he's also been in the system his whole life, and he did start as a page pretty early and become a squire pretty early. So 16 would not be unreasonable for him. He's really only like 14 and a half, though, so making him a knight now is pretty crazy, but not completely unheard of.
Yeah.
He's only 14?
And a half.
Holy shit.
Yeah, the kid's a badass.
Yeah. Well, if the day ever comes in need of testimonies and stuff, we personally witnessed him fend off 2 elves, and the way they stabbed and how fast they stabbed, it was
I
it was
mean,
crazy.
depending if we want the Inquisition on our ass, we might want to use the term marauders.
There we go.
Assailants.
Well-armed assailants. Vagabonds. Ruffians.
Scoundrels and connivers, one and all.
Ne'er-do-wells.
Pirates.
Did you say ne'er-do-elves? Dun, dun, dun.
Boxball. Mission failed, boys. We'll get them next time.
There's like one half-drunk inquisitor in the background who's like, hmm?
I fucking knew it.
You mean the Inquisitor that's my drinking buddy?
That's great.
I would be completely unsurprised if Revert had a drinking buddy that was an inquisitor. That would not surprise me.
Okay, I think we're done for the evening. I'm going to go ahead and mark off that you guys have moved on to the 4th of summer. It is Sunday, the 4th of summer.
So we got another week done of training.
You have completed a full week of your training. Now,
Okay.
if you started it and like you succeeded the first roll, you've now had a full week finished.
All right, cool. I'm up to 2 now.
Huzzah.
Swiggity.
I also got my hit dice back, so.
Yeah.
That's right. My wounds are finally gone.
GR, I have 3 weeks down in my sheet. Does that sound right to you? I feel like I started training right when River did. And I don't think that sounds right.
Well, did you start training after after Ned the Guard was killed? Did you start training before Ned the Guard was?
Yeah, I think you started training a little bit before me. And on one of the downtimes, I did spend a couple days doing non-downtimey things that wasn't training.
Okay, just
so
double check.
if all you did on like every possible chance of downtime was training that skill, you could be ahead of me, yes.
Neat.
Well, in that case, you should be halfway there.
Shame about that brigandine.
But climber's kit, hey!
Yeah.